Welcome people, we end up back at it again with another video. In today's video, I'm going to make a very simple statement and then I'm going to back that statement up with facts, right? Now, my statement is Pochettino will make Chelsea great again, right? Now, I'm going to go into a few facts as to why I believe he will make Chelsea great again, right? Because as we all know, Chelsea have regressed in the last few years. We're not the mighty Chelsea that we used to once be, challenging for league titles, winning domestic trophies, right? Um, in terms of how we've been doing in the Champions League in recent years, we've actually done quite well, but domestically we haven't done very well in a while, right? And I feel like Mauricio Pochettino is the man to change that. Um, and I'm gonna show you why just now, right? So the first indicator of Pochettino's potential success with Chelsea in future is his record in English football, right? So he came into English football in January 2013, right, at Southampton Football Club, and his job was basically just to steer the ship, right, and guide Southampton to safety, ensure that they don't get relegated. He managed that, right? Now, what's impressive about what he did at Southampton is found in the 13-14 season, right? His first full season at the club. In his first full season at the club, he managed to guide Southampton to an 8th place finish. That equaled their highest ever Premier League finish, right? And he also got them their highest points tally in Premier League history, right? And that was about 56 points, which is very good. You know what I'm saying? So that's number one, right? Then number two is the fact that he has coached a big six club, right? And this club is Tottenham. So after what he did in the 13-14 season, Tottenham were like, you know what? We want some of that for ourselves, you know? So what did they do? They appointed him as head coach. And throughout his 5.5 years at Tottenham from May 2014 to November 2019, he actually did a really good job, right? So obviously the most significant bits of good work that he did, right, is getting Tottenham to the 18-19 Champions League final, right? Even though they didn't win, just to get a team like Tottenham to the Champions League final, that's crazy, right? That's number one. Then number two, he also got them to the 2015 Carabao Cup final, right, which they lost to Chelsea, right? But now, how did he perform in the Premier League over those 5.5 years, right? I'm about to reel off his finishing positions whilst he was head coach of Tottenham. So in the 14-15 season, his first full season at the club, he finished fifth. And considering that Tottenham don't spend so much in the transfer market, that's actually quite good, right? Then in the 15-16 season, he finished third. In the 16-17 season, he finished second. In the 17-18 season, he finished third. In the 18-19 season, he finished fourth. So as we can see, Pochettino is used to guiding a team, a lesser team, to top four finishes. So what I'm thinking is, if he can guide a lesser team to top four finishes, why can't he take a team like Chelsea, right, who have quite a bit of investment, who have quite a few good players? Although we have had exits recently, we have quite a few good players. So why can't he take this team to the summit of the Premier League? Why can't he take us back to being the champions of England? I don't see a reason why he can't. Another thing that I like about Pochettino is the fact that he can help develop young talent, right? For example, Harry Kane is one of the best strikers the Premier League has ever seen. And who coached him for a significant amount of time? Mauricio Pochettino. You know what I'm saying? So when I see him doing that at Tottenham, I'm just thinking, okay, maybe a man like Armando Broja can benefit from Pochettino's guidance, because Broja is a young striker, right? And Chelsea have had a curse when it comes to the striker position for quite a few years now. So what I'm thinking now is maybe Pochettino's presence will finally break that curse, you know. So we'll have our strikers like Armando Broja performing, man like David Datro Fofana performing, man like Nicholas Jackson, who's just recently joined, he'll be performing, you know, and Pochettino will be getting the best out of these guys, and Chelsea will hopefully have strikers who are actually bagging in goals game after game after game for the first time since Diego Costa back in the day, you know what I'm saying, around 16, 17. So that's another thing that I like about him. Now, let's go into his style of play and how it could suit our players, right? So, the first point is the fact that he Part of his football philosophy is aggressive pressing, right? Now, this suits two players in particular, Marco Correa and Conor Gallagher. With Marco Correa, what I saw with him in the second leg against Dortmund in the Champions League last season is that he was able to help the team win back the ball high up the pitch, right? And basically leave the opposition in a vulnerable position because now they're just passing it along the back line and everything like that, you know, preparing for an attack, and the next thing you know, Kukurea is taking the ball off of them and that launching an attack for his team, right? Putting the position in a very vulnerable position. I feel as though because Pochettino has an aggressive press, I think that Kukurea could be well suited to that, and as such, he could do well in the team. As for Conor Gallagher, one thing about this man, right, is that although technical skills need development for sure, and I think Pochettino will help with that, he can run for days. This man can run for days, and his pressing, his determination and willingness to press is very, very impressive, and it needs to be commended, you know. And much like Kukurea, I feel as though his pressing can really help us, right? Get us some nice high turnovers high up the pitch and put us in a position where we can punish opposition for sloppy mistakes. You know, that's number one. Number two, he likes dynamic fullbacks, right? And this is good for Reece James and Ben Chilwell, right? And the reason I say that is because they're very well suited to attacking, right? Ben Chilwell is a great defender, right? When you're looking at him as a fullback, right, his defensive capabilities are very, very good, right? He gets back well to win the ball back, you know, make sure that his side has cover, you know, people aren't necessarily exploiting his side of the pitch, right? He's very good at doing that. But not only is he good at that, he's also good at making inverted runs, right? And inverted runs which give an opportunity for a player like Thiago Silva to take the ball, ping a diagonal to him, or Enzo Fernandez to take the ball, ping a diagonal to him, and pick him out running into deep into opposition territory and potentially setting up a chance for Chelsea, you know. So he will benefit from that dynamic style of play for the fullbacks. Another player who will benefit from that is Reece James. Now, Reece James, in my opinion, is the best right back in the world. He's one of the best right backs I have ever seen in my life, bro. So when I see that Pochettino has a dynamic way of playing his fullbacks, I get excited because I'm thinking Reece James can cook. Reece James can cook. He can cut inside, right, and shoot himself, or he could ping in an excellent ball for a striker to put his head onto or to put his boot onto, right, leading to a goal for Chelsea. So that's also looking very good, right? Pochettino also has a method of playing where he likes to overload one flank, right, and then switch it quickly to the other flank, right? And I think that can benefit quick players like Mikhailo Mudryk, right? And it could be well suited to players like Noni Madueke, who's quite good at dribbling. So when I'm looking at Mudryk on the left and Madueke on the right, what I think is Madueke could perhaps do the good initial work, right? Get his side into a good position, right? We were overloading, right? And we're basically drawing the opposition to the right flank, right? And then we ping it to the left, right, with Mudryk in space. And hopefully by then he will have worked on his finishing, right? His finishing will be top tier and he can just put the ball into the back of the net. So when I'm looking at Pochettino, I see a good historical record in the Premier League. And I also see the fact that his coaching style can suit these players. On top of that, right, he has experience winning, right? Some people will say, oh, he's never won anything in England. Can we really trust him to do well and everything like that? That's true. He hasn't won in England, but he has won in France, right? In 2021, when he took over, in January 2021, when he took over from Thomas Tuchel at PSG, he won the French Super Cup, right? Then in that season, in the 2021 season, he finished just 1 point behind Lille, right? So although it would have been disappointing for PSG not to win the league and you'd expect him to perhaps win the league, finishing 1 point behind the opposition is not too bad. It's not something that's shocking. It's not a sackable offense or anything like that. And then on top of that, he won the Coupe de France in the 21-22 season, as well as winning League itself. So with that, you can see that this man has had some success, right, at a high level, and I feel as though he can replicate that at Chelsea because at PSG, for him to have done what he had to do, right, he would have had to deal with egos and all of this, right, which he wouldn't have encountered really at a club the size of Southampton. But now he would have dealt with that at Tottenham, right, when they were on their rise. Dele Alli, Heung-min Son, Harry Kane, them and they, you know what I'm saying, Kieran Trippier, right, those type of players. And then also players like Neymar, Mbappe, you know what I'm saying. Um, and other PSG players like Marquinhos, you know, Messi, these kinds of players. So I think Pochettino has everything that we require in a manager. He has a good historical record, right? He has experience winning, and his style suits our players. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the future is bright under him. Now, can we expect him to win the league in his first season? No, 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 no. That is extremely unrealistic. But I think a good expectations for him would be fourth, bare minimum fourth in the league, right? It's getting competitive, right? As the years go on. Now at the top, you've got Man City, Arsenal are back, you know, Man United are seemingly back. Newcastle United have popped out of not they have. It's not that they've popped out of nowhere, but 5 years ago you wouldn't be thinking that Newcastle can fight for top four, but they did that last season and they achieved top four. Then you've got Brighton potentially doing a madness under De Zerbi, you know, Tottenham, perhaps they will rise again. They got rid of the their manager Antonio Conte and then his assistant Stellini, right? And Brian Mason, you know, they have a new coach, right? I forgot his name, but Tottenham, I feel, could do something this coming season. Obviously, that could be wrong, very wrong, because Spurs like to bottle things. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of competition at the top. So for us to expect him to be first or even second is too steep, right? I think a good finish for him in his first full season at Chelsea will be fourth, right? Then from there, in the FA Cup, I would like us to get us to the quarterfinals at the very least, bare minimum quarterfinals. As for the Carabao Cup, I want us to win the Carabao Cup. It's been 8 years since we've won. I want to win that again. I think that saying that he should go out there and win the Carabao Cup, I don't think it's asking too much, to be honest. And then obviously we're not playing in Europe, and that should actually help us in the Premier League, right? Whereas other teams will be a bit tired, you know, from midweek games. We'll be fresh, you know. We would have had an entire week to prepare for the next Premier League game, whereas other teams will have had like three and a half, 3.5 days. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what else? I think that's about it. I Those are the reasons why I think Mauricio Pochettino is the right man to make Chelsea great again. So that was it for today, guys. I'll see you next time with another upload, probably tomorrow. I will try for it to be tomorrow. So yeah, see you. Peace.